receive it. And some of them got it at probably 11:07. So we may have some people jumping in just a
Okay.
minute or two that are looking for it. So just be aware that there may
Okay.
be some folks coming in.
That's cool. That's cool. Thank you. But yeah, somebody click record for me, please, because I did not think about that.
I got you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, so I'm sure you have seen this over and over again. These are our Zoom meeting norms. Please keep your mic and your video off while I am talking. I will turn mine off here in a little bit. The mic, of course, keeps from having other distractions and other noises. And then we ask you to keep your video off so we can kind of help with our bandwidth. Now, if you are all dialed up and you really want somebody to see you, please feel free. Keep your mic on. I mean, your video on, that will be just fine. But otherwise, please look at you. I see you guys. Yes, you're dialed up. So otherwise, please keep your video off. All right, here are all of the buttons that you need to be using. Here is the chat box button. If you have a question, please feel free to put it in the chat box. I will not be manning the chat box, but my amazing friends will be manning the chat box for me. So if you have a question, please put it in there. All right, so today we are going to be looking at awesome tools for gathering student feedback. Now, the link to this presentation is right here. If you would like, you can type that in. And also, if you have your cell phone, you can scan this QR code. Now, I did in my instructions, I asked all participants to please have either another computer, you need either a cell phone, or you need an iPad. Now, what this link is going to do, it's going to give you a copy of this presentation. You can make your own copy where you can edit, change, you can share it out yourself, do whatever you need to do. And if we have to put this back up later on, we will. All right, so why are we looking at gathering student feedback? Well, the first thing is you can immediately see where the struggle was. Everything that I'm going to be showing you today, you will get immediate feedback. I remember being in a classroom when I would give an assignment and I would give it to the students and I would tell myself, you're going to grade this tonight so you can see what you need to do the next day. Well, next thing I know, Friday would arrive. So this will help you so you're not moving on and you can see where your students are so you can see what you need to teach. You'll also be able to quickly see, did anybody miss it? You'll be able to say if you need to go back and reteach. So maybe you cannot move on to the next chapter. You might need to go back and reteach. And then of course you'll be able to see, did they get it? So the 4 things that we are going to be looking at are Flipgrid, Poll Everywhere, Google Forms, and my fave, Nearpod. Now, like I said, I asked you all to please have another device handy. Now, for this session, I have a very difficult time trying to make anything non-interactive. So for this session, participation is required, okay? And my people will be watching to make sure that you all are participating. Participation is required or this session will flop and we just cannot have that, okay? So the first one that we're going to look at is Flipgrid. Flipgrid is a super duper fun video platform. It allows students and teachers to respond by making short video clips, okay? So instead of using paper and pencil, students can now go in and create a video where they can respond to their teachers. So what the teacher will do is they will create what is called a grid that helps organize all of the topics, and students can reply to these questions to by creating a video. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to try this new thing that my buddy Robert shared with me, where I can share using my phone, and I want you all to see what it looks like from a student's eye when you are using either a phone or an iPad. So give me just a few seconds to switch
Aundria, just to fill some
Share.
time as you're switching, if you
Yeah,
go
go
to our Twitter, my Twitter at rmaben9, you'll see that I have tweeted something about Flipgrid, and we're trying to get one of our friends from Flipgrid to join us in the final session. So if you're a Twitter person, go find that, look at hashtag ATIM Summit and see that tweet and retweet it. We're trying to get as many retweets on that one as possible so Jornay will join us.
Y'all quit
Boom.
bothering
Can you all see
Jornay.
my
I'm
phone?
trying to get her to do something for me too. So she gonna be busy today.
Can you all see my phone?
Yep, looks great.
Oh, I tell you, this is so amazing. I'm so glad Robert shared this. All right. So first thing we're going to look at, if you see down there in the bottom, I've created what is called a mixtape. Now, when we get into Flipgrid, I will show you more details about that. But what a mixtape is a place where you can just grab some videos and you just kind of put them on this playlist, okay? So I'm going to click on my mixtape, and what I've done is when I do this session, a lot of teachers, this is the first time use of using Flipgrid. So you all are going to do this in a little bit, but I have created a grid just so teachers can experience what Flipgrid is about. So we're going to look at just a few, these are some of my favorite videos that I have done, you know, over the past few years while I've done this session. So we're going to look at a few of them just so you can kind of check it out. This is how it would look on a student's end. So the first one we're going to look at is Mariah right here. And she is telling you how she uses Flipgrid in her classroom already.
So I teach high schoolers, and during this pandemic, we used Flipgrid just to kind of communicate with each other. We just went over like things that we had done this week, or things that we're struggling with, and I would do it every Friday. So I'd call it Flipgrid Friday, and I'd post it on our Google Classroom, and I would just make one topic for all my classes, so that way that they could, even if they're not in the same class period, they could still communicate with each other and reply to each other's videos. And for this upcoming year, I'm teaching current events, so I would like to use Flipgrid as well, just to get students' opinions on different current events that are going on across the country and across the world, especially with the election coming up and the coronavirus. I'm sure it will still be relevant. And so just to kind of have an open dialogue with the students and to be able to communicate not only with me, but with other peers in different classes, and just be able to hear everyone's voice. I think that's Flipgrid's like slogan or whatever, like one voice. But you always have those students that are not going to speak up in class in person, but they'll be able to go on and create a video on their own time. Sometimes I'll let them go out in the hall and do it, or I'll say you can do it at home, because some kids may not feel as comfortable doing it in front of their peers. So I think this is a great way to hear all of your students' voices.
All right. And let me see, this one.
Hello, this is Bridgeport.
Oh, wait a minute, it started going without me. Hold on. No. All right, so this one that I want you to see here, this group of teachers, I cannot remember which grade they're in, but this was their very first time ever doing anything with Flipgrid. And they were a super fun group.
Tell the camera. Tell the camera. Right. Okay. After our kids finish their independent reading rotation, they could use Flipgrid to tell us all about what they just read. The title, the author, the characters, the setting, whatever we want them to tell us.
The sequence of events.
Anything.
We could also use it in math for them to explain their strategies for a number talk or during partner time.
Yes.
Woo.
And War Eagle. Yeah, War Eagle.
All right, and one more that I want to share with you. One of my topics is, when I'm doing this session, I ask you to find somebody in the room that you have something in common with. And I just want you to see where these two characters go with it.
I'm Anna Vinson, and we have things in common. We're blunt. We're real blunt. Don't ask us our opinion. We'll tell you.
Exactly.
Your feelings, that's really not our fault.
I don't have emotions, so we're good.
Nah, I quit that for Lent.
What else do we have in common?
We both graduated from Auburn University.
Exactly, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Uh-oh, come on, internet. Oh, we may not finish this one.
And we have great taste in music.
Very good taste in music.
Adam Hood,
Chris Posey.
Jason Isbell.
A lot of it. Good stuff.
We're awesome.
It's an Auburn thing.
Yeah. War Eagle.
All right, so I just wanted to give you a glimpse of what some of the things my teachers do when we are in our sessions. So just think about the things that you could do with your students. So Flipgrid is a great way to allow some of your students to showcase what they know without being in front of everybody. We have several students who are afraid of being in front of the group. This gives them a way to express what they know, kind of being behind the camera. So before I let you go and give this a whirl, what I want to do, I'm going to show you what it's going to look like on your end and how you're going to record your video. So in a little bit, I'm going to give you what's called the flip code, and you will enter that code right here. Now for Flipgrid, the teacher is the only one who has to have an account. Students do not have to have an account. They can use their cell phones, they can use an iPad, they can even use a computer. Only thing they need is the flip code from you. All right, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like on a student's end. I'm gonna click on my grid. This is the grid that you'll be using in just a little bit. All right, so if you see here, I'm gonna click on this drop. These are my different topics that I have added. Is it showing? There it is. These are my different topics that I have added. All right, so I have one that says, what's so funny? And I have one that says, what do we have in common? And Happy New Year. And I also have Flipgrid in your classroom. Now you'll notice that it says 2018. I have used this grid continuously in all of my sessions for a reason. I want to show teachers just how easy it is to communicate with other people from all over. So you'll see several teachers in here that are from all over the state, not from just my region, because I've taken this to other conferences and there are teachers from everywhere. So I keep it like this on purpose. So let's pretend that I'm going to create a video. And what you're going to do is, you see the green plus button on the bottom. I'm going to click on that. And now my screen is up to record. So now I'm going to just make a recording. Hello, hello, hello. It is an amazing and beautiful day. I'm going to click on the play button. Just make a recording. It's going to let me review. It is an amazing and beautiful day. I'm going to click on the green button here. And this is where you're going to take your selfie. Okay, I've taken my selfie. And then you notice here, you can add stickers and you can add different letters and things like that. And then you would click on the green button again. Now, I'm not going to click on it because I don't want this one on my grid. So I'm going to delete this. And now, before we get into what it looks like on the teacher end, I'm going to give you all an opportunity to create a grid. Now, remember, I told you that participation is like kind of mandatory, okay? So in just a few seconds, what I'm going to ask you to do is, hold on, I need to get my phone off of here. Hold on. Are you all still looking at my phone? Yes.
Yes.
Well, why? Okay, let me click stop share for a second then, because it wouldn't let me move over. All right, and now let me go to share screen again, and let me go here again, and do that again, and here. All right, so here's what we are going to do. First thing I would like for you to do is you can either go to flipgrid.com if you would like, or if you already downloaded the app, you can just use your phone. This is mainly what a lot of your students are going to be using. Unless you're one-to-one with Chromebooks, you can allow your students to use an iPad or a phone. And then remember where I showed you where it said let's Flipgrid, where I told you to put in the code. The grid code is let's Flipgrid. So in just a second, I'm going to put the next slide up. You have 7 minutes to go through any of those topics and kind of look at some of those videos, kind of get a feel for what it looks like on the student end. Within those 7 minutes, I need everyone in here to add to my grid. So the next time I do this session, I have more videos that I can share with the group. And then when you're all finished, I'm going to find a few of your videos and we are going to share them with this amazing group of people. So if you have the Let's Flipgrid code written down or you're already written in, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you have it. Do something so I know that I can move on to the next slide. I'm not looking at the chat box, so I hope my people are saying y'all got it.
They do. They have it.
Sounds good. All right. So you have 7 minutes starting now. Turn mics off, turn everything off. Go ahead and play in Flipgrid for 7 minutes. And then when I come back, I'm going to find some videos. Guys, make sure there's no space in the code. I'm looking at the comments saying some of y'all are having problems with the code. There's no space.
You did say join as a student, right?
Yes, you're just a student. You're just putting in the grid code. That's all. Just you're putting in the grid code. Hey, all of my friends, it's going to ask you to log in using a Google account because my Flipgrid is public. Okay, so anybody can use this, but you must log in with the Google account just to show that you are old enough to be logging in. Okay, and we'll go over the rest of that when we look at the teacher portion of it.
Aundria,
Yes.
Are you seeing any like school accounts that when they try to push and get into that, it's blocking them because it's not one that their emails allowing them to do yet?
I have not run into that.
I haven't either. I'm surprised I haven't. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I haven't ran into any of that yet.
No, but that's a good question, down the road.
It sure is.
But no one's had that. I've been waiting to see if someone, had that problem. But like at Troy Troy, it comes through. You know, they don't block it at mine either, and we block everything.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a nice attribute of the program.
But you know, it may have something to do because Microsoft took it over.
There you go. And that's why I think Troy accepted it too. And it runs fluid on both, which is, you know, a nice attribute. It's good stuff. Good point, Angie. You know, you mentioned Oxford City Schools. You're as rigorous with blocking things as we are, and it allows it through. So that is probably the reason why, since Microsoft has owned it. Yeah.
You can upload a reply to any of the prompts that you see listed. Any of them that you want to, you can reply. After you press submit, it will be uploaded. Stop this. All right, so I hope that you all have had a chance to add some videos. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to my Flipgrid. Let me go here. I'm going to go, I'll use my phone, that'll be fine. Never mind, I'm using my phone. Let me see here. Now, can you see yourself using this with your students? Just think about all of the things that you can do while I'm working on sharing my screen. Can you see yourself using this with your students? I've had even some teach, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, absolutely. This is going to work great with my kids with special needs.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. While she's speaking of that, I did this session a week or two ago, and I had a teacher who works with Hispanic students, and she was thinking about the things that she could do with this where they could record themselves and they could hear themselves. So this was really cool. All right, and I've also had some teachers and principals using this, like when they're doing book studies. It's a great way to still have that interaction, but maybe you all don't have to be in the same room at the same time. So there's lots of different ways that you can use this. All right, are y'all looking at my phone? All right, so I'm going to pick one or two people. Now, I'm going to give you the opportunity, or if you just want somebody to see your video because you think it's the most amazing video in the whole entire universe, if you comment, please share my video. I will let my teams pick one or two people whose videos we will look at. Now, if you're okay with not sharing, that's fine. But if you know you did an outstanding video and you want somebody to see it, please just put it in the comments and my Tims will let me know that you want somebody to see your video. All right, so let's see what some of you all did while I'm on here.
April Washburn.
All right, April Washburn, I need you to put in the comments which grid that you created a video on. And while she's putting that in the comments, we are going to look at, Linda, who was just speaking earlier. Linda, do you mind if I share your video? All right, awesome sauce. Let's see, guys. And she did the one where she's discussing how she can use Flipgrid in her classroom. And this video is still processing. You made a long video. We may have to come back to yours. All right, let's check with Kim G.
Think about how you use math this summer.
Uh-oh.
Tell me one way that you
minute.
used math over the summer. Think about how you use math this summer.
Okay, that one is,
Tell me one
that
way
one's
that you
spazzing
use
out on. That
math
one's
over the summer.
spazzing out on me. Hold on. Let's try Sandy here.
I use Flipgrid for students to give me summaries of things that they've read. It also works well for retelling the ideas from passages that they've read.
Ooh, guys, let me try this one more time. Because it's spazzing out.
I use Flipgrid for students to give me summaries of things that they've read. It also works well for retelling the ideas from passages that they've read independently.
Andrea, if we can't watch it on yours, they can certainly watch it on their Flipgrid app or on their computer.
Yeah,
For students to give me
that was going to be my next thought. All right, so I'm going to try my friend. Which grid did April put hers on? We're going to try it and see if it works.
I put it on the what's so funny topic.
What's so funny? All right. See, still moving slow. Like I'm all on the list. I may have to just pull it up on my big computer.
Yeah, it'll play better if you use your computer.
All right, friends, give me 3 seconds. 3 seconds. We're gonna play April's video. And
So
then
in the chat, while Aundria is doing that in the chat, if somebody wants to drop some ideas, if you are a Flipgrid user, it might be a good time for you to tell us some ways that you might have used it or some topics that you might have had with your students on Flipgrid.
Flipgrid. Educator login. All right, let's Flipgrid. And she did what's so funny. And April, this is you right here, I'm assuming.
Yes.
One of the things that was kind of funny was this past school year when I was teaching second grade, which was my first year going from fifth grade down to second, was I brought in a baby chicken. And actually, I brought it in a couple of times throughout the year just to let the kids see how it grew. But the first time when it came in, I would let them hold it, and it would start flapping, and they were silly. Some of them loved it. Some of them were scared of it. Some of them wanted to touch it but not hold it. And just seeing their reactions was so funny. Then I brought it back when it was bigger. And we were reviewing different things that we had learned, like the word perch. And it perched on my arm. Pooped. I swear I thought the whole school could hear our entire class laughing and yelling that that bird had pooped in our classroom. Definitely, I think, hopefully something they remember. It's going to be something I remember because it was so funny.
Ah, that's great. I love it. I love it. All right. So if you notice, as the teacher, I can go here and I can give a score on ideas and performance, and then I can also add comments for April. Also, if I wanted to give her video feedback, if I didn't want to do any typing, I could click here and I could give her video response. That was great. I appreciate all of y'all's participation. Now, now that you have the code, even though we're going to be leaving this, you can come back at any time and you can come and watch these videos. Like I said, this is something that I will be using over and over and over again. So if you ever want to come back and just get a chuckle from some of your teacher friends, or either get some ideas of how they are using Flipgrid in their classroom, please feel free to come back to this grid. And if you start using it and you doing some amazing things with it, please come back and add them, because I do have teachers that come back to this grid as a reference where they can come and get new ideas. So let's go back here. Go back to present mode. All right. All right, so the next one that I would like to show is Poll Everywhere. Now, I learned about Poll Everywhere from one of my colleagues, and his name is Little Barry. Little Barry showed us Poll Everywhere a while back, and I fell in love with it right then at that moment. And I have been using it ever since. What Poll Everywhere allows you to do, it allows you to get quick and immediate feedback. Now, my most favorite thing about Poll Everywhere is that it allows participants to use their cell phone if they would like to send a text to their teacher where they can get an immediate response. So it's always a win-win, because you are now giving your students permission to, number one, pull out their cell phones. And then number two, they can text in class. It's a win for everybody. So here's what we're going to do. You are going to complete a quick little poll for me. Now, before we get this poll going, let me go ahead and tell you, I am using the free version of Poll Everywhere. With the free version that I'm using, it allows me to have up to 40 participants at once. So if you want to participate, you're going to have to move really, really quick, okay? Now also, and I'm going to talk about this before I put the poll up, because I don't want people to start doing it and then press send, because that's just no cool. So what you will notice now, you can either use the poll by using your phone, by sending a text, or you can use the website, which is great. Now, the difference with that is, if you are using a phone, they're both completely anonymous, but as the teacher, you will not know who responded to what if they're using the phone. If you are using the website, though, it will ask students to put their name in, and then later on you can go back and you can look and you can see who responded to what. That is the only difference. But when you're just trying to get an overall grasp of, did your students get it or did they not get it, using a text is really, really fun. So very quickly, I'm going to need the first 40 people to like go in here really, really quick, okay? If you see here at the top, there's the website link, and then there is the text where you can send the text. From what I can tell, I have not seen any issues with it being case sensitive. But if you want to go ahead, you can just use all caps. But I need the first 40 people who can get in, I need them to go ahead and respond to this poll. So your poll says, who is your most fave presenter thus far? Is it A, Aundria Campbell? Is it B, A Campbell? Is it C, that nice lady who will not stop talking? And you notice how I'm getting the live results and the bars are changing. Y'all are pretty cool. Okay, when it stops moving, I know that I'm getting my responses in. All right, so while that's going on, those of you who are already in, can you see yourself using this with your students? I mean, it's very quick, immediate, fun feedback. I love the idea of using the cell phones. I've seen faculty meetings where the principal will ask the teachers a question and he just wants quick results and he'll put it on here. Now, one of my most favorite things about this is that it is completely anonymous when you're presenting it with the students. So if someone does get an answer wrong, we don't have to embarrass anybody. Also, I can immediately see if this is a standard, I can immediately see, oh my gosh, they got it, or oh my gosh, they did not get it. Also, if you are a math person, you can even throw in the percentages and you can throw this into a math concept, okay? So the one question that I always get asked is, how did you put that poll into your slideshow? I'm gonna show you that as well. Let me go here and move this. Hold on just 1 second because my bar is hidden now. All right, so how do you think you can use this with your students? If you would like, go ahead and put it in your chat box, put it in the ideas, put the ideas of how you think you can use it with your students. Just go ahead and put it in the chat box. Remember, like I said, Poll Everywhere can be used with mobile devices, or it can be used with a browser. Super fun, super fun, super fun. So here's what you're going to need to do. You're not going to do this part right now, and we will go to Poll Everywhere and check it out. What you're going to need to do is you're going to go to polleverywhere.com. You're going to create a free account. I have never gone over anything further than a free account. It's very rare where I'm in a session with more than 40 people. But if you want to purchase it, you go right ahead. But the free account works just great. The next question is, how did you get it into your Google Slides presentation? Adding a poll to your Google Slides presentation is a great way to make it interactive. So what you're going to have to do is, when you're going to go to the Chrome Web Store, and if you have my presentation, I have hyperlinked the little Chrome shopping bag here. You're going to go to the Chrome Web Store, and you are going to download the Poll Everywhere extension. And then I will show you how you can easily add your polls to your Google Slide. So let me back out of here. And let me go to Poll Everywhere quickly. All right, so this is what Poll Everywhere looks like when you're logged in. Again, like I said, I'm using the free account. All right, so the first thing that I learned with Poll Everywhere is that you can only have one poll active at a time, okay? So let's say if I wanted to have more than one poll in this session, I would have to come back, deactivate this one, and activate another one. So very quickly, I just want to show you the different types of polls that you can create. So I did the simple multiple choice A, B, and C, but look at all of these different types of polls that you can make. You can have word clouds, Q&A, all of these. And like I said, I'm using the free version. You have all of these different types of polls. The biggest difference between what I've noticed between the free version and the paid version is just the amount of participants. You can get up to the 700 participants with the paid version. But all of these are just the different types of polls that you can have. So you can be really, really creative with it. And then also what I like, when you have it in a presentation, it makes the students, they have to be engaged and they have to pay attention, because they don't know what you're going to have on the next slide, and they're going to be responsible for responding to it. So let me go and show you what it will look like after you have added the extension. So if you see here, I'm in my Google Slides, and now that I've downloaded the extension, I now have a button for Poll Everywhere. So when I click here, it gives me the opportunity to go ahead and create a new activity if that's what I want to do, or it will allow me to insert one that I've already created in Poll Everywhere. So once I insert that activity, now it becomes interactive in my slideshow. So when you are in present mode, that's how it became interactive. I didn't have to do anything fancy to it. All I had to do was insert it, and it made it interactive. So Poll Everywhere is super fun. And like I said, that is the free version. And if it's free, it is better. All right, so let me move over to my next topic. Let me put this back in present mode. Let me check my time. Okay, I'm doing good with time. All right, so let's go to the next one. Nearpod. All right, so I have been a huge fan of Nearpod for a very, very, very long time. What Nearpod allows you to do, it is an app that allows you to truly, truly, truly make interactive lessons. So much fun. You can have polls, you can add quizzes and videos and interactive drawings. So super fun. But my most favorite thing about using Nearpod is how the teacher is in control of what is on the student's screen. If you have never used Nearpod before, I'm telling you, this is gonna blow your whole mind. If you have never used Nearpod before, please just put it in the comments so I can get like all hyped up about it. But Nearpod is absolutely amazing. There is a free version and there is a paid version. Now, my first time using Nearpod, I used the free version with my students. And then the following year, I decided to go ahead and buy it for myself, and I used it in my classroom. And then after that, the district purchased it. So I have been a Nearpod geek for a very long time. All right, so what you are going to do is, wait a minute, I clicked on the wrong one. Need to go to the next slide. All right, so what I need you to do, I need you to go on any device. You can either go to www.nearpod.com, or if you have your phone or an iPad, if you have downloaded the app, please just open up your app and I'm going to give you the code. Now, this is something that is super similar to Flipgrid, where the students don't have to have an account. The only person that needs an account is the teacher, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my Nearpod, and then I'm going to pull up the code. Go here and go here. All right, so here's my Nearpod. Let me refresh it to make sure that it is still logged in. Okay, so here is, let me go to my stuff, my library. All right, so let me pull this up. Now, here is another difference with the paid version and the free version. If you're using the free version, if I'm remembering correctly, the only option you have is to do a live lesson. If you are using the paid version, you have an option of using the live lesson and a student paste. That would mean you can just assign it to your students and they can complete the lesson on their own time. So I'm going to click on live lesson. And I'm going to click launch a new lesson. Now, Nearpod is able, you are able to use it in Google Classroom, email, Remind. If you have Google Classroom, it is so great because all you have to do is send this to your classroom. The students never have to put in a code. All they'll do is click on that link and it's going to send it directly to them, and they won't have to put in the code and they'll go straight to your lesson. So if you have your phone or your iPad or whatever you are using and it's asking you to put in the code, I need you to please put in this code. I need them to please put in this code. So I'm going to close this now. And if you notice, the code stays on the top left-hand side. So if you have any students that come in late, then they will be able to get that code. You'll just say, hey, we're in Nearpod. I need you to put in that code, and wherever you are in the lesson is where they will be. And you should see on whatever device you're using, you should see this cute little dude pointing up at the light bulb. Now, while you all are getting in, I will say, I actually taught this lesson a few years ago with a group of fourth graders. Worked out really well. Now, we're not going to go through and like teach this entire lesson. I just want to show you how it looks on a student end using Nearpod. And then you'll notice toward the end of the lesson, I just kind of threw some stuff in there because as Nearpod grew and they were adding more things, I wanted to show teachers those new things. So I just threw them in there. So I see some of you are still logging in. We're up to 92. Let's see. We make it to 95 and I'm gonna move on. Let's see, 94. One more and then I'm gonna start this show. Come on, 95, there it is. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get this going. And for anybody that is still trying to get in, no worries. When you get in, your screen will go wherever we are in the lesson. All right, so you should be looking at this cute little dude here. I'm gonna simply click. Wait a minute. This is in my way. There it is. Hold on, gotta move that stuff. All right. Now, your screen should have changed. If your screen changed, I need you to put a big hooray in the chat box. How cool is that? Your screen changes as I go. So now you are in full control of the lesson. So amazing. I love this part. So I'm just going to keep going. Your screen should have changed again. All right. So all of these cute little pictures and things that I have in here, I did not create them. I am so not that creative. But what all I did was I went to Google, looked up what I wanted to find, added the pictures, and boom, bam, boom, there it is. So I'm just going to go through, keep on going through until I get to some of the interactions. But this was a great lesson. The students were engaged when I did this. All right, so you'll notice right here, this is a slide that contains a video. So I have the option. It says, where would you like this video to be played? I can choose all devices, or I can choose this device only. Now, if you're in a classroom and all students have headphones, by all means, do all devices. I love giving students opportunities. Some are gonna wanna rewind, some are gonna wanna fast forward, some are gonna wanna watch it again. Give them that opportunity, okay? Now, for this session, I'm just gonna do this device only. And all I did, I think I uploaded a brain pop video. This session to reach the maximum number of students, upgrade your account to enjoy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's fine. So 100 on the paid version, didn't know that. All right, so all I did was upload a video. And is it going to play? There it is.
Enjoy this movie and visit brainpop.com.
Okay, not gonna make you listen to it, but I uploaded the brain pop video for the students to listen to during that session. So for my friends who are not able to get on, if you message me one day, we can just get together and talk near pod. We'll get it together, won't be a problem. All right, going to the next slide. All right, the next one, I created a well, I didn't create it. I found this passage online. Now, what I want you to do, teachers, I know this is going to be extremely difficult. Do not read the passage. We do not have time. All I want you to do is I want you to go in and just mark, submit, mark, submit, mark, submit. Do not answer the questions. Like if someone gets 100, I will call you all the way out because you read it. So while you're doing that, if you notice, I have the option here to hide names, or I can show the names. Okay, so I'm going to hide the names for the moment. If I see somebody get 100, then I'm gonna turn those names back on and I'm gonna see who read. I think some of y'all, okay, we got it, we're doing good. All right, so I have a few of you who've gotten in, who have good. Y'all did good. Nobody read. Y'all did great. So again, I can click here and I can see who has turned it in, and I can also see the answers. But I love the idea of hiding the students' names because if I have my screen up, I do not want to embarrass any students. But again, if this is a standard, if you look over here in the corner, I can immediately see that my class did not get it, that I've got to go back and do some reteaching. Now, if you're using the paid version, you can go back into the report section. I can see individually who got what. But if I just want to have a discussion with my class so we can figure out what happened, this is all the information I need. I see all of this red. I see that my students did not get it, okay? So I'm going to move on to the next one. All right, again, do not read. Okay, this is an interactive drawing. So what I did was I found something online that I wanted to use and I uploaded it. Now, when I was in the classroom, I had students that were using a computer. I had them create a text box and they had to type in their answer next to the arrows. On whatever device you are using, just scribble, 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 and press submit. I'm so proud of y'all. Y'all did good. Y'all didn't try to read. I'm so proud. Because I've had some folks who be really trying to read. This is perfect. All right, so you see on my screen, I have all of my students' work up here at once. But what I love, again, is that I don't have any names on here. So if I see one and I decide to showcase it, maybe I want to say, and I'm going to choose this one right here. I'm going to click on this one because I want to discuss it. I'm going to click on the share option here. And now it should show up on all of your screens. Now my class, we can have a full discussion on why do you think this person did this? Why do you think this person did that? Whether it's good or bad. Now, unless that person starts shouting out, that's mine, nobody will know whose paper it is, and we don't have to embarrass anybody. On the flip side of this, I always think about my daughter. My daughter is super duper smart, but she does not want to be called on. You know, she does not want to be that center of attention. If you have a high flyer in your room who is like that, you can get their submission here, and you can share it with the group, and you can praise that student on how well they did and things like that, and still kind of boost them up without embarrassing that student, but still give them that praise that they need. So I love this idea of doing this. All right, so I'm going to go to the next one. All right, now right here, and I'm thinking this is in the paid version. My friends can correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is in the paid version. This is one of the 3D features. Now, I really like using this feature, either using an iPad or a tablet or phone, because I can just use my finger and I can go all around the object that we are looking at. There are so many different 3D objects that we can look at. So if you are studying animals or sea creatures, you can find that shark, and you all can look at all areas of that shark up close. Super duper cool. I mean, you can even see all like the scratch fighting marks on the shark. Love it, love it, love it. I love this feature, but there are several different things that you can find under the 3D feature. All right, I'm gonna move you, so you're gonna have to stop playing with the shark. I'm gonna move you now. All right, this next feature, this is the VR, and I do know this is in the paid version. If you are using phones, and let's say you do have VR goggles, if you click on the enter to VR mode, it's gonna get you to a point where you can use the goggles and students can look and see in the ocean, just like we're doing here. But with me being on the computer, if I hold my finger, I can move it around like this. Now, if you are using an iPad or a phone, you can actually get up and you can walk, and the ocean will kind of move with you. There are so many different virtual reality scenes that are in Nearpod. Great to play with, good fun. All right, I'm gonna go to the next one. Let's see, what is this one? All right, so love this. This is a new collaboration tool. It kind of reminds me of Padlet. But what I'm going to ask you to do is, the question says, do you think your students will like using Nearpod? So if you see on my screen, it gives me the option as a teacher, would you like to approve students' comments before they're posted? You know your babies better than I do. Now, because I think y'all are cool, I'm gonna say no. All right, so if you would, please submit a little sticky note to our Nearpod here. Yeah. Look, and just like on social media, look what we can do. We can go and we can press like, and and then, the kids are going to do it because they can't help it. They're all going to be competing to see how many likes they get. But I love this feature because students will love being able to go in and see their students' responses. Again, the names are still hidden, okay? And you can just go and click, 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 and tell your students that you love their responses. All right, for time purposes, I'm going to move on. All right, so this was the last slide that I did. Now, when I did this, like I said, I actually taught this lesson. And when I saw the students that were struggling, I had this link, which takes you to a game. So I had all of the students playing this main ideas game on their device. And then what I did was I kind of walked around the room and I kind of met with those students that I saw struggling. It kept everyone engaged and it kept everyone on task while I was able to go ahead and fix some of the issues that I saw during the lesson. All right, so now I need to end this lesson. And let me end this session. Yes, I'm sure I want to end this session. All right, and now what I want to show you, I want to show you very quickly what it looks like on the teacher end, very quickly. All right, so creating your Nearpods are super, super fun and easy. Some of the features that I want to show you are, again, I used the free version for a long time and it worked great. This is where you can put your code in. There is a Nearpod lesson library. I'm not going to let you run loose in it. I'm just going to show you because it's going to be very hard to get you back. Whenever I do this, it's very hard to get teachers to come back because they go in here and they start finding all kind of stuff and they get excited. But if you notice here, all of these different subjects, and you have all of these different grades and all these different types of resource types. Now, first thing I'm going to tell you is if you're using the free version, many of these you will have to pay for. Not all, but a lot of them you're going to have to pay for. But what I will say is they're like between $4, $7, $9. I bought several of them before, but I would tell you they are worth every single dime. They are very thorough. They are excellent lessons. Now, if you choose to use the paid version, many of these lessons are already included, and all you'll have to do is download them and add them to your Nearpod library, okay? So that is the difference with that, but we're not going to go in that now. We can do a whole Nearpod lesson another day. Y'all just contact me and we can get into here and we can have a good time. So let me go back here. Another feature that I like is subplans. If you create a Nearpod and you know you are going to be out, if you go under the subplans tab, it allows you to send this Nearpod to your sub, send it to their email where they can do your Nearpod with your students without having to get in your account. Love this feature. I played with it a few times. I don't have a class to play with it, but I played with it a few times. Love this feature. So very quickly, I'm going to go in here as if I'm creating a Nearpod. Move this out my way. All right, so I'm gonna do this first because I'm gonna do the lessons in Google Slides in just a bit. If you go to the lessons in Nearpod, this is how you would create your Nearpod lesson. Ooh, and while that's loading, it just crossed my mind. If you create your free account with Nearpod, there's usually a button that will show up and will ask you if you want to try the premium for like 30 days. I say go for it and try it, but wait until you know you're getting ready to go back to school so you can try that premium and then decide if maybe later on in the future you want to purchase the full thing. All right, so quickly, I'm going to add a slide. I'm not going to do all of this, but just look at all of these different features that you can add into your slideshow. Now, again, I'm not going to go into them. Contact me and we can always do a full-blown Nearpod lesson. Love to do that. All right, here are the activities. I love that they have added Flipgrid, and I don't know if you noticed before, they've added vocabulary. I'm telling you, I learned that last week, blew my whole mind. Didn't know they had added that. All right, so these are all the different features that you can add into your Nearpod interactive lesson. So let me go back here. And now I'm gonna show you what is super duper cool. So you remember I told you that you could go through lesson plans in Google Slides. If you are a fan of the Google Slides format and you would prefer to create your Nearpod lesson in Google Slides, they have now made it work. So cool. So let me show you here. So I'm here. Now what you're gonna have to do, if you decide you want to use Nearpod in your Google Slides, you're gonna have to go and add to the add-ons and you're gonna have to download the Nearpod add-on. So easy. So once you do that, I'm gonna click on Open Nearpod and then check out what comes on the side here. So right here, you will see all of the Nearpod interaction. Now I can click, click, click. I can add it to my Google Slide. So that keeps me in my familiar grounds of using Google Slides. Love this. All of these features here, all you have to do is click, 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 and you'll just have to save it. Now keep in mind, when you present, you will not be able to present this from Google Slides. You will have to present it in Nearpod. So now let me go back because I want to show you one that I played around with just because my mind was like completely blown the other day. All right, so this is one that I was playing around with. And we're not going to do a lesson, but we're going to do a preview so I can show you just how cool it is when you're adding the vocabulary and the Flipgrid in your slideshow. Now, this is one that I made in Google Drive. I was just super stoked about it. I'm just stoked as I could be. So check this out. Your students can now go to, let me see what this is. They can now go to vocabulary like without going anywhere within your Nearpod. So here's what we are going to do. For giggles and because it is Friday, I want everybody in here, don't do it yet until I say do it. You're gonna take your camera off. We're gonna have a dance party for like 10, 15 seconds. Now I need my 10 people. I'm gonna need you to do some screenshots so I can make sure that all my people are participating because you know I said participation is necessary. You never know, they may get a gold star or something. I don't know, but I'm gonna need everybody to turn the cameras on and then we're gonna have a dance party for just 10 seconds, not a lot. Now, a lot of us I know have been like locked up and in the house for a while. So when you hear that beat, you can't drop it like it's hot because it's too early, okay? So here's what I want you to do. Go ahead and turn your cameras on. Come on, come on, come on. And y'all ready? I'm getting ready to press play. I need to say everybody get their boogie on now. Come on, come on.
Let's go. We won't even break a sweat. We don't need towels. Just talking about 5 letters that we call the vowels. Yes, sir. That's A-E-I-O-U. And sometimes the letter Y is like a vowel too.
All right. That's enough. Y'all calm down. Calm down. Now, take your cameras, turn them back off. Now, we got to come back and be professional. There you go. All right, so that, I'm telling you, I was so excited though when I saw that they had added vocabulary and now how easy it is. I'm just thinking about how bizarre and how big this the lesson can be, adding so many different features, so much fun. Now, on this next one, love this one too. Now that they have added Flipgrid to it, your students do not have to go to Flipgrid to get to your Flipgrid lesson. Oh my gooly gooly. I was so excited. They can go right here in your Nearpod. You add your Flipgrid to it. Just like before, if they click here, they can now respond. I'm not gonna do all of the logging in, but I love now that they don't have to go to Flipgrid. If you add it to your Nearpod lesson, they can look at the topic, they can click the plus sign, and they can add their video. I'm telling you, that blew my whole mind yesterday, and I just had to share that with you. All right, so let me go back to my presentation here and see where I'm going next. Let me watch my time. Okay, I'm doing good with time. Move this out of my way. Present. All right, so the next one is Google Forms. To me, Google Forms is a kind of like a hidden jewel. I still run into so many teachers who are not that familiar with Google Forms. Now, they have filled a form out because either an administrator sent it to them or someone sent it to them so they could gather some information. But a lot of teachers, I'm still learning, are still not as familiar with Google Forms. Everybody has access to Google Forms if you have a Google account, okay? So what Google Forms is, if you're not familiar with it, first of all, it's free. It is a way to collect data that comes with your Google account. You can also just use it as a data collector, or you can actually use it to grade your quizzes or your tests and things like that. So remember I said, I need you to participate. So on this next slide, if you would, you can either use your phone and you can use the QR code to access this form, or you can use this bit.ly link to access the form. I need all of you to get into that. It's just like 3 or 4 questions. I need you to submit an answer so we can discuss quickly about this Google form. All right, I'm going to move on so I can get to my form. If you didn't get it, then yell at me. Come on, get away. There you are. Okay, here's my form. All right, we're here. So here's my, and I'm getting live responses as we go, live responses. All right, I'm gonna give you a little more time to finish your responses. All right, so I have a good deal of responses, and for time purposes, I'm going to go ahead and keep trucking. All right, so something very easy and fun that I really like about using Google Forms is how quickly you get your responses. So if you have this separated with standards, you immediately can look at these charts and you can see, did they get it? You can see which questions maybe were missed. Just really, really quick, easy, super easy feedback. So now another thing that I really like is this button over here. It will turn all of your responses and we'll put them all into a spreadsheet. So besides using this for a quiz, or besides using this just to collect data, I've had some schools who use this when they're trying to do like the prom king and prom queen or the class president and things like that. They'll create a Google form for the students to respond to, and then they don't have to go through and count all the tallies. They just go through here and they can immediately see who's the prom queen or the prom king. I've also had some schools use this for t-shirt orders. They'll put their t-shirt orders on a form, and instead of having all of those papers and then you're trying to separate them into sizes, they just print off the spreadsheet and they give it to whomever needs to get the spreadsheet. So we're going to click here and it's going to make an amazing spreadsheet for me. Now, if you are using this for a quiz, my most favorite thing about it is that it timestamps it for me. So if I know that I'm giving this quiz, let's say at 12 o'clock, and then I notice that little Johnny, and I hope we don't have anybody named Johnny in here because I always refer to little Johnny. But if we notice that little Johnny decided to turn his in at 3:30, then we know that he may have gotten some help. He may have saved the link, got some help, looked in the book or something. Now there is an option where you can go in and you can turn the link on and off, but you might not remember to do that. But I love this because now you can go here and it's all time-stamped for you. And if you see here, everything's in a nice little spreadsheet for me. Now, I'm gonna go back to my form. And let me go here. Now, very quickly, I'm just gonna go over a few things about when you are creating your form. Of course, you put your title, all that good stuff. Let me tell you, one thing I get texts about throughout the school year is I will have a teacher who has done an amazing form or an amazing test, and they'll say, but I don't know whose is who. So if you're ever going to do something that needs to be turned in, make sure you make the first question, what is your name? You know, what is your last name? That way, you know, when you're looking at your spreadsheet, you know whose is who. Also, if you want to create a Google form where it grades it for you, you're going to have to go through the template and you're going to have to go to the educator section and you're going to have to choose either blank quiz or assessment. That is the only way Google Forms will know how to grade it for you. Now, we're not going to get all into how to create that and how to, for everything we're doing, I'm kind of just scraping the surface of it to give you an idea. Okay, so if there's any topic on here that you would like me to get into further detail, if you send me an email, a text, or call, or whatever, I'll be glad to set up a session and we can go through everything. But you'll notice here, if I want to add a question, I'll just click on here. This box is in my way. Hold on, guys. All right. And I have all of these different types of questions. Okay. I always recommend setting it to required. Now, this is not a one-stop shop. You must go through and set every question to required if you want it to be required. That means that the students will not be able to move on if they have not answered everything that is required. So there will not be any more of that where students are saying, well, I didn't know that one was there, all that stuff. If you set it to required, yes, ma'am.
Andrea,
Yes.
I just discovered this the other day. Maybe I was slow to the game, but over there in that 3-dot menu under preferences, I think up at the top, you can
right here?
set, there's something that says preferences, and you can actually set all required by default.
I just
Really?
posted that.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Yeah.
check
Oh, I
that
didn't know
out.
that.
And you can also set your point value there too as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I did know about the point value, but I did not know about the setting all the questions required.
You
Thank
won't have to do it ever again.
That is wonderful. Thank you. Love that. So guys, if you're going to create a Google form, go ahead and set it by default. So the students have to answer everything. Make sure that you do that. That's a great tip. Love that. I've seen pre-K and kindergarten students use this as well if they're studying shapes or letters, where instead of having text, you might want to add a picture. And when you add that picture, then you can just have the matching or the corresponding, whatever the answer is, where the students can just tap it with their finger. Math teachers. I've had several math teachers who have been dealing with trying to use Google Forms. Now, for the first thing is Google does not understand math language. They just don't. What I see some teachers doing, they are finding maybe a worksheet or a test online, and then you're taking a screenshot of that question, okay? And then what you can do here, instead of adding text, you can add that picture of that question right here, and then all you need to do is simply put the answer choices here. Now, if you decide to do something with short answer or paragraph, here's the thing that's gonna get on your nerves. The student's answer must be identical to what your answer is. So if the answer is Alabama and somebody does not put a capital to A, although the answer is correct, it's going to be wrong if you put a capital to A. So just be prepared. If you decide to do something with short answer or paragraph, be prepared to have some students flipping out because it's gonna say that they got it wrong, they got it wrong, they got it wrong. So that's just one thing that you just need to be aware of. If you do short answers, students' answers are going to have to match identically to what you have, okay? All right, so I think that is all with that. Let me check my time. I'm doing good with my time. Let me go back here. And let me pull this up. How did I get way over there? Hold on. Okay. So this is the end of my session. So check this out. Now, like I said, I just really scraped the topics of everything. If there is anything that you would like me to go into further detail, please send me a text. Please message me on Twitter. Please feel free to email me, and I would love to get a session together. I'll put it out there and we can have a whole session on whatever it is that you are interested in learning more about. This session will just kind of get your brains moving to give you an idea of some of the things that you can use to gather very quick student feedback. And as you notice, a lot of these things that we have done can be done virtually as well. You know, we don't know what it's going to be like for the upcoming school year. A lot of these ideas you'll be able to use going virtually, and you'll be able to keep everything engaging, okay? So this is all my contact information. All right. right, the next thing is, if I get one of my amazing peeps to please put in the session Google form, please. If you'll please complete this form, this will be a way that we can better ourselves. We are always ready and looking for improvement, and this is a great way where we can collect information and collect data on how we can better ourselves so we can better serve you. I'm super excited about you all being here, and I appreciate all of you hanging out with me. I've had so much fun. I don't know who all I have in here from Region 3, but thank you, Region 3, for coming. Thank you, and I cannot wait till I can come back out to your schools. Thank you,